What's up with it, fellas? What's up with it? What's up with it? We up in here like we always do. You already know what time it is, fellas. Get at me in the PayPal. Go get at me in the Cash App links. The links are definitely in the chat. Get at me on Rumble, fellas. Go download the Rumble app and follow Casey the Red Pill Alpha Debunker. I'm constantly dropping over there. You're gonna get certified heat like always. Get at me in the Patreon just as well, fellas. This is the last day for you to join that 7-day free trial. Get on that $10 tier, my most prominent tier, fellas, and go and join and go check it out. And we can get straight to it like we do. All game over there. Get at me at the bottom of the screen, fellas. Get at me at the Gmail, railsfargo12 at gmail.com. Go join me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at the Real Rails FA1. Get at me on the super chat, fellas. Donate to the show, the membership. Sign up, join. Come fuck with me. I'm constantly dropping, so you already know what time it is. This is unlimited game. Like I said, it's therapeutic for me, so I'm always speak what it is. Pedro in the building. What's up, KC? Finally, sad ending for the OJ saga. Yeah, this is the final one. This is the last video right here, fellas, but it's very intriguing. It's very interesting, and this is the murking zone. You know what I'm saying? This is where he actually described how he hypothetically, so as he put it, you know what I'm saying, put the murders down. So we're gonna get straight to that just as well. There's other couple, like there's two more videos to it, but it's really relating to the murder trial and all that. And I don't want to get into that because that's extra. And plus it's so much history of that. You can go check that out on YouTube or wherever you can download, videos that's everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to speak on the things that a lot of people are not up on the OJ thing. That's why I brought the saga in here so we can get it going. And shouts out to Pedro for staying true to the OJ saga, because this is something you can learn from, and I see that you like it. And as long as I can touch someone or anyone that can find themselves in this kind of situation, you know what I'm saying? Remember and always know, fellas, there's always someone that been through what you've been through and someone that can help you up out of those situations, navigate you through those kind of problems. And that's what I'm here for. You know what I'm saying? But shouts out to Pedro. Like I was saying, fellas, once again, like, share, and subscribe. Enjoy the videos. Enjoy the show. Fair use on everything I do once again. And hit that notification bell so you can be alerted on these videos. Every 2 to 3 days, hit that notification bell. Let's get to it. They say they want a nice guy, right? See, all women say these things, fellas. But we're gonna break down, and it's a 2-part video. I got 2 videos that's gonna come up before we get into the OJ thing. And we're gonna speak on why women say they want nice guys, and do they really mean what they say when they say it? And why do they actually how can I say this? One minute they like the nice guy, then when they get the nice guy, then and it's like, I don't appreciate him. I don't respect it. I just don't want this kind of guy in my life. And I want you guys to listen to this video right here. And it's crazy, but I'm gonna break down why they don't know why they don't want a nice guy. Let's get to it.
We talk about how hard it is to leave the good guy. When you say, I want a divorce, and he's like, no, I want to work this out. Everything's going to be fine. We can get through this. And he's so encouraging and everything's just so fucking peachy keen, right? We talk about how I'm manipulated into staying because he's a good guy. He does nothing wrong. Like, the only thing he's guilty of is being lazy and, not putting in effort like we did when we were at the beginning of our relationship.
Translation: when you hear a woman say, okay, he's a good guy, he does everything good, he's not bad, the only thing he's probably guilty of is just being lazy or doing, she's basically saying he's guilty of things that she want him to do and he's not doing, or he's not moving fast enough for her. That's what she's saying. That's what she don't like about that. Otherwise, she really can't find nothing on this guy to really divorce him or shame him, put him down, and cheat on him and do whatever she's gonna do to him, right? Because he's simply too nice of a man where she know it's kind of difficult to find this kind of guy elsewhere, because he is a nice type of guy, you know what I'm saying? Probably generous and everything. But she don't know why she don't want him though. And this is all women, fellas. All women feel this way. They don't know why they don't want him, but they scream and yell that they want this guy or this type of guy. Let's finish. Let's go through this.
Relationship like any other marriage. He doesn't beat me, he doesn't do anything, he doesn't take money from me, but he downplays my emotions. I don't think he fully understands me. And we've talked about this, y'all. This has all been in counseling, but how do you leave the good guy? I'm having like an internal battle right now because like I want to leave. I want to file divorce papers and I want to freaking run to Maine or something. I mean, am I the crazy one? Am I the crazy one? Because I keep throwing these fits and fighting with him. I look.
See how she's torn, and she's torn. She got herself in a situation where she's torn in between actually wanting a bad boy, and we don't mean drug dealer, killer, and gangbanger and things of that sort when we say bad boys. So we talking about a guy who really don't take her fucking emotions, her feelings, and what she think in consideration. He cares about him and him only. He do what the hell he wants to do. He move how he wants to move. She wants him, but then again, she also wants the guy who's going to cater to her, who's going to pander to her, and who's going to pedestalize her, and that's the guy she's with now. But she don't know why she don't like this guy, and he's doing everything allegedly or supposedly he's doing everything right that she want him to do, but she don't know why she don't like it. But this is all women, fellas. This is how they feel. This is how torn and confused they be on the inside, fellas. Real shit. And they go and sabotage what they have going. And it may be good for them, but they will go and sabotage that simply because they don't feel that it's a connection here and this don't complete them wholly. Like they would add a bad boy in the situation. You know what I'm saying? If they add a bad boy into the situation, then that will somewhat complete them. They wouldn't be feeling the way they feel it. You know, that's why women, you know what I'm saying, they like to have that beta and they like to have that alpha at the same time. This right here simply explains everything to you, fellas. It's breaking it down to you. She's telling you. Right now, she's telling you guys, you know what I'm saying, what would make her complete for real and what would not have her on the bed crying and having these mixed emotions is if she had an alpha right along with this bad guy. I mean, alpha right along with this beta guy. That's real shit. That's crazy, but it's
legit
that's how they
crazy because I literally stay in bed all day. A lot of that is because if I don't stay in bed all day, I will nitpick him. And I like last year, like I don't, because I'm so unhappy with myself that I will nitpick him and tear him apart. So if I stay in bed, I won't be mean. So.
And you see this? I'm so unhappy with myself that I will nitpick at this guy. I will start shit with him. I will cause all this drama. So I got to keep my distance. I got to stay in bed so I won't be so fucking mean to this guy. And he's just this nice guy. She's battling with herself. She's battling with whether she want to deal with this guy or dump him off and go deal with a guy that's going to complete her emotions and not have her feeling like this, such as that alpha. That dude that makes it about him and not about her. You get what I'm saying, fellas? And this may go over a lot of guys' head. They might be like, huh, what the fuck? I just don't understand. No, she's explaining it to you. I got a great man who does great things. You know, at times he may not, I mean, he's not perfect, but he does great things. But I'm not really happy with him. And this is, I believe this is all women, fellas. You know, until they really truly find themselves and be content with who they want to be with or whatever the case may be later on in life, or that may not never come. Who knows? Right? Wow.
Tired. I'm so tired. And I'm only sharing this because I swear to God I promise transparency. And I swear to God I promise the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I am struggling today. But this has been an ongoing struggle for the past like 6 months of my marriage. And I've said it here and there in videos, but I've never gotten this raw. I'm tired of marriage counseling. I'm tired of trying. I'm ready to leave. I'm ready for a divorce. I'm exhausted. I'm mentally at my capacity. I feel like I'm stretched thin. I feel like I can't describe it. But I am not okay today.
Now she's ready for a divorce. She's going through, I mean, I don't know what the fuck. This bitch going through some midlife crisis. I don't know what she's going through right now. I know she's going through what women go through, you know, when they're in a relationship or they're married or they've been in a marriage for so long, you know, and and they want to out some kind of way, but at the same time, they don't want to just end it and be blamed for ending. They want to have a justifiable reason or have a strong reason on why they ended it, and they don't want to be blamed for it. They want to put that shit on him or whoever they fucking with, the nice guy, on why they're leaving and he's this way, he's that, because she really can't find why she really want to leave him. She broke it down. I don't really know why I want to leave him, but I do want to leave him. Damn, that's crazy, bro. That's how they are, feel. That's why you got to stay strong within yourself, stay leading, stay in control, and run the situation shit like it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? Don't cater to her feelings, don't cater to her emotions. And when, and if you got a chick like this and she's like, got her ups and downs, and 1 minute she's on the mood swing and all that. I mean, I would advise you guys to dump her, to get rid of her. That's me. I mean, who wants to deal with some shit like this? You're not going to struggle and battle with yourself on if you want to deal with me or if you want to divorce me or kick me to the streets and go and do you. And no. I'm going to make the suggestions. I'm going to make the move first. Let me go ahead and leave. And if you move like that, fellas, these problems right like this won't even occur in hands. You'll know what you're dealing with. And you won't be so quick to be marrying these women, fellas. Like, just be so quick to jump into a fucking marriage, into a relationship. You won't be so quick to do these things. You want to really observe women. You want to actually experience. You want to do a lot of things outside of a fucking relationship and not think about a relationship, fellas, before you actually want to get into a relationship, because you may not want to get into one. If you start experiencing getting around and moving like you moving and meeting different women and making things happen for yourself and playing to feel like you playing to feel, fellas, and then you'll see how women are and you'll sum it up. Okay, this is all of them. The fuck? So let me go ahead and move and fuck with those who's actually fucking with me for me. Not no motherfucker who's straddling the fence. 1 minute she want to fuck with me, next minute she want to divorce me. And who got time for that, fellas? So I would dump her and divorce that bitch. I beat her to it fast. Let's get to this next one. Now here go the second part. I'm gonna bring in the second part video of they say they want nice guys. Like this woman. Like women. This is what they do. They say they want you guys to propose to them, go out and get rings and show and display your worthiness and your honor towards them. However, when you go and do these things, this is how they treat you. No. Fucking free. Are you mad? Why do? Is that what that's what I mean to you? Fucking McDonald's. It's the food that counts at the end of the day, do you know what I mean? Like, we're really children manners. Well, it's the food that counts. This nigga went to go chase behind the bitch. He dropped his hand in his head, went to go chase behind the bitch. Check this out, fellas. If the bitch was really into you and she was digging you, I wouldn't give a fuck where you propose. You could propose to this bitch in the sewer, up in the fucking cesspool sewage area, wherever you propose. You can propose to the bitch and the Johnny on the spot after the knocking her motherfucking back out, and she gonna go for it if she's into you. She just don't like him like that. She just don't see a future in marrying this guy. McDonald's don't mean, I mean, what the fuck the location mean? What does McDonald's mean? It's just a little, fast food restaurant. I mean, so if you're really happy about him and happy about your situation, hell, shit. But shit, that'd be a good spot for him to propose at, right? She didn't want to marry him, fellas. She don't see a future with him. It's embarrassing to her for him to come out with this ring and try to propose to her in front of all these people when she really's trying to, at the same, bitches be trying to keep their options open just as well. They don't want to just, give themselves into a guy like this wholly and completely, what I'm saying, without having a sense of control and without controlling the way they move and how they want to do things. I got a couple videos coming up where a chick is actually telling you, motherfucker, if I can't cheat in peace, if I can't get a house and a car and all these other things from you, I don't want to fuck with you. It ain't gonna come up today, but more than likely probably tomorrow or something. I'm like, wow, who the fuck is going for this? But you got guys out here that will go for this. Yeah, you got guys out here, man, that be, bareback and tongue kissing and eating the pussy and the ass of these bitches. And man, you know what I'm saying, getting very, you know what I'm saying, getting very, you know what I'm saying, like getting vaginal with these bitches and shit, bro. You know, and these bitches be having boyfriends and they get shit married and man, you the side dude and you going this way. You got dudes that disrespect themselves to the utmost. That don't even care. Wine and dine, take the bitch out to different events and fly the bitch around and shit, and the bitch in a relationship. And these bitches will tell you that I got somebody and you know I'm out here doing my thing. And dudes will still do that. They don't care. And in return, look how these women are treating you guys. You pulling up on her with a ring, you trying to cuff the bitch and marry her, and this ain't what she want. Fuck no. A lot of women don't want no, fellas. They are not trying to be taken off the market. They gonna play the field. Won't you guys do the same thing, man? Play the fucking field and relate more to those who's relating to you and you know who's into you and sexually attracted to you and you know highly, you know that's highly into you and down for you and what you got to stand for yourself and she's down to ride along with it. That's who you fuck with, fellas. You don't fuck with no bitch because she pretty, she got some good sex or whatever the case may be. And after a month or two, you jumping off with a ring trying to marry this bitch. Fuck nah. What have she done? What have she done to show you that she can take you guys to the next level and to new heights? Or she can at least assist on it. The fuck? She fuck material, that's where you keep her at, fella. That's where she should be. That's where it stay. That's what it is. Elevate these bitches like that. Must be crazy, motherfucker, man. Nah, you disrespect yourself and you gonna chase behind this bitch. Nah, when you did something like that, you went to go propose to the bitch and she ran off, nigga, you should run the opposite way. Fuck you. I'm out. You chasing my these motherfuckers. These dudes do anything to keep these bitches in position, bro. Them suckers, man. Straight suckers. Now, let's get to this OJ saga, fellas. Break this down real quick. You know, allegedly, the murking zone. The murking zone. The OJ story part 6, fellas. When he actually described what actually went down and he broke it down in details, hypothetically, so he say, right? So we're gonna go off that hypothetically, since it's been written as hypothetically and who he put it out as hypothetically, you know. Um, what's this worth it though? No, I don't think so, man. You know, nah, not at all, fellas. It's not worth, you know, losing your life, going to prison and doing all this shit, man. Especially behind a bitch, you know, that was displaying that she wasn't into you, fellas. So what we gonna do is jump off into this shit. Let's get it cracking. Get over here and get it popping. Now, there we go. Let's get it jumping. Enjoy the show, fellas. And once again, fellas, no woman is worth this shit. So take this shit for game value only.
The night in question. I was in a lousy mood after the recital. I was exhausted and not looking forward to getting on another plane. But most of all, I was upset about my brief conversation with Ron Fishman. I didn't like what Ron had said about Nicole and the girls. We don't know the half of it. The half I did know about was bad enough, but Ron seemed to think it was worse than either of us imagined. I also thought back to my conversation with Cora, Ron's wife, and felt another twinge of guilt. I'd pretty much given up on Nicole, but she was still the mother of my kids. I had to do something. If not for her, for them. For a few moments, sitting there in my living room, I wondered if I should threaten to fight her for custody. The idea was not to take the kids away from her. I knew that would destroy her. But to shake her up so badly that she'd finally start trying to get her shit together. The girl was an accident waiting to happen. As I was thinking about this possibility, Cato showed up. He was carrying a towel and a magazine and asked if he could use a jacuzzi. Sure, I said. How was the recital? Fine. Did you talk to Nicole? I went out of my way to not talk to her, I said. You look bummed, man. What happened?
Hold on. He said he went out his way to not talk to her, but then this is the plot. This is the twisted plot. Then they say Nicole didn't invite him. Well, she invited him to the recital, but invite him out to eat and things of that sort. So she invited him to the recital, but when it came, I get it. Let's go.
Nothing, I said. This shit's endless. You You should have seen the skirt she was wearing. She still thinks she's a teenager. Can I ask you something? Cato said. Why is Nicole so fucking mad at me? I didn't want to get into it. All that business about Cato living rent-free without doing anything to earn it.
She look like a teenager. What the fuck? Because the skirt she's wearing, see, that's enraged. That's self-inflicted jealousy right there. You're bringing amongst himself. See, that's why I said allegedly, fellas. But you get through it, man. Come on, man. OJ, you was on some other shit.
So I told him not to worry. You know how she is, I said. She puts her anger and craziness on everyone else. I noticed the magazine in his hand. It was a current issue of Playboy. Cato flipped it open and showed me one of the girls inside. He said he knew her and could introduce me, but I wasn't interested. He went off to get into the jacuzzi, and I found myself thinking about a Raiders cheerleader I'd known some years back. She looked a little like the girl in Playboy. I dug up her number and called, and when the machine picked up, I left a message. Hey, it's me, OJ. I wanted to see how you were doing and to tell you that I'm a free man, a totally free man. Call me. I hung up and realized that I really did feel kind of free. But the feeling only lasted a few moments. I found myself thinking about Nicole again.
I'm a free man. I'm a total free man. Call me. Huh? Fuck. No, that ain't what you say, man. See, that's that old school shit, old nigga game. You don't call no bitch up and leave that on voice. I'm a free man, total free man. Call me. And all that shit, you know, bitch gonna be like, damn, what the fuck? See, they don't know how in depth women think when it comes to them, when it comes to men trying to make her their one and only, or you know, you focusing completely on her and not having other things going on, or not having other women and shit, man. That'll push a woman completely away from you. But OJ didn't know these things. He thought that he was doing some romantic type shit to pull in the bitch. When all along, he could have been pushing the bitch away.
Then about Paula. I was pissed at Nicole, and Paula was pissed at me because of Nicole. Maybe I should have taken Paula to the reception. I had tried to be respectful of Nicole and the Browns, and once again I got bit in the ass for my efforts. I went into my home office and started getting some of my things together for the trip. I noticed I only had $100 bills, and I knew I'd need a few fives for the airport skycaps, so I went out to see if Cato had any change. He was already done with the jacuzzi, which he'd left running, and I turned it off and went by the guest house. Cato, man, please try to remember to turn the jacuzzi off when you get out, I said. Did I forget to turn it off? He asked. Man, I used to wonder if the guy was all there. Yeah, Cato, you forgot to turn it off. I'm sorry. I held out a C-note, asked if he could break it, but all he had was 20s. I borrowed one and told him I'd pay him back. I need it, I said. I just realized I haven't eaten anything. I'm going to run over to McDonald's. Can I go with you? He said. Sure, I said, but hurry up, I'm pressed for time. We took the Bentley and ordered at the drive-thru window. I ate my burger on the ride back. Cato saved his for later. I was busy eating, so I didn't talk much.
See, Caitlin said this was right about, he went, okay, so this aligned with what Caitlin said. Caitlin said that when they went to go to McDonald's, OJ golfed this shit down in like two bites or something. He ate his burger fast enough, like he was stressing or he was pressed for something, like he was mad. It was something, you know what I'm saying, that made him just get rid of his food fast. Cato said, I waited to go back to the house and then I ate my shit there, basically. He said, but I didn't know what that was really. I didn't really pay attention. Okay, so that's...
I found myself thinking back to the recital and how cute Sydney had looked up on stage doing her little dance number. It put me in a dark mood. The last few times I'd called Nicole to try to get the kids, which I often did on the spur of the moment, she had gone out of her way to make it hard for me. She always found some reason not to let me take them. The kids are tired. They've just eaten. They've had enough excitement for one day. I couldn't understand it. She didn't even want me to see my own kids. It seemed like she was making everything as difficult as possible for me. It's true what they say about never really knowing another person. Nicole wasn't even Nicole anymore. She was a complete stranger to me. I finished the burger and felt lousy. It had gone down wrong. When we got back to the house, I went inside and started packing, laying some of my things out on the bed. Then I went to the garage to get my golf clubs. There were a few dead balls in the bag, so I set them on the driveway and chipped them into the neighbor's yard. I couldn't seem to stop thinking about Nicole, though. Usually, when I pick up a golf club, the world disappears. That's one of the things I like about the sport. But this time, I couldn't get it out of my head. I remember thinking, that woman is going to be the death of me. It was probably around 9:30 by then. I figured Nicole and the kids and the...
That ain't good. That ain't good. That ain't good saying no shit like that. That woman's gonna be the death of me, and then the murder just happened like this. Oh, come on, bro.
Browns had finished dinner and gone their separate ways. As I found out later, they'd eaten at Mezzaluna, an Italian place on San Vicente Boulevard, in the heart of Brentwood. Nicole's mother, Judy, had left her glasses at the restaurant, and she called Nicole, who called the restaurant, and learned they'd found the glasses. Nicole was told that Ron Goldman was just finishing his shift waiting tables, and that he would be happy to drop them at the Bundy condo when he was done. I knew none of this, of course. None of this had anything to do with my life. Not then, anyway. I set the golf stuff aside, fished out my cell phone, and called Paula from the driveway. Either she wasn't home or she wasn't answering. I think it was the latter. I'd called her several times that day to apologize for not taking her to the recital, and it looked like she was determined to punish me. Hell, for all I knew, she was already thinking about moving on. If that was actually the case, I had Nicole to thank for it. The lesson...
No, you gotta have yourself to thank for that shit, for allowing Nicole to come in and fuck your shit up. And not only that, for what my understanding is that shit, the bitch left a voicemail on OJ's voicemail telling that she was done with him. She dumped him, the Paula Barbieri shit. The same day he's supposed to allegedly did this shit to old girl. So did this fuel the rage or whatever? It's like, damn, I ain't getting no play this way. My ex-wife wearing skimpy ass dresses and shit, fucking around over Mezzaluna and fucking with different dudes that way. The other bitch I hit up, the model type bitch, the Hawaiian chick, she ain't reached back out. It's like OJ was in a lose-lose situation. So, hey.
And here was simple. It doesn't always pay to do the right thing, especially if you're doing it for people who don't give a fuck about you. Suddenly I felt exhausted. I was getting old. I could hardly walk anymore, and I've been told recently that I would eventually have to have both knees rebuilt. Plus, the arthritis was killing me. I was on medication, but there were days when my hands hurt so much I couldn't pick up a fucking spoon. I parked my ass on the low wall near the front door, feeling whipped. I was trying to figure out how it had come to this. I'd been somebody once. I'd had my glory days on the playing field, a number of high-paying corporate gigs, many years as a football analyst, and even something of a career as a Hollywood actor. It wasn't over, not by a long shot, but everything seemed more difficult now. It was a little like that business in Alice in Wonderland, where she has to run twice as fast to stay in place. But hey, if that's what it took, that's what I'd do.
No, that's called life. That's called age. It's called maturity. It's called cutting off motherfuckers that don't mean shit in your life so you can get back to the shit that means shit. And you should have been and did these things if you sitting up thinking about that. See, come on, guys. Come on, man. Nah, if you got all these things lined up for you and everything's working in this right perspective for you, and you talking about how shit is actually getting harder, it's getting harder because you making it harder. You bringing shit into your life that you can't control, and you trying to control it when you really can't control it. And if you can't control it, it's not in your reach, or in your grasp to control. Let it go. That's what you got to do, fellas, and push towards things that's more beneficial for you. That's what he should have done.
You don't get anywhere in this crazy world unless you fight for it, and I was willing to fight for it. Still, it seemed like every day it took a little more energy, and Nicole was sapping a lot of my goddamn energy. That got me thinking about family, the meaning of family, and specifically about my own family. My mother and father separated when I was about 5 or 6 years old, and we 4 kids, me, my brother, and my 2 sisters, stayed with my mother. She worked in a San Francisco hospital for 30 years, put food on the table, and kept a clean house. My father stayed in the picture, though. The marriage hadn't worked out, but that didn't turn them into enemies. He was always around, and that was an important lesson for me. When a marriage fails, it doesn't give either parent an excuse to disappear. You have to be there for your kids. The way my parents saw it, life wasn't about them anymore. It was about the 4 children they brought into the world. And because they felt so strongly about their responsibilities, they made it work. They talked on the phone every day, but it was never about their own shit. It was always about us kids. And whenever there was a problem, they handled it together. If it was a question of discipline, though, my father took care of it. And when I say he took care of it, I mean he took care of it. In those days, there was whoopings, and everyone knew it. You didn't go crying to child welfare or any of that shit, because 9 out of 10 times, if you got a whooping, you almost certainly deserved it. Hell, I know I did. Then one day, when I was 16 years old, the old man and I had a little falling out. My mother called him to say I'd been disrespectful to my sister, and he came by the house and called me into the living room and asked me to tell him what happened. I told him, and in my version of the story, which I firmly believed, my sister had done wrong. My father didn't buy it, though. He told me to go to my room, and I knew I was supposed to go in there and wait for him to come in and deliver his whooping. But as I waited, I decided I wasn't going to get a whooping.
Shouts out to Pedro. What he say? What Pedro say? OJ, slowly losing himself like a motherfucker, bro. And he's ending himself. He's doing that to himself, and he's trying to find blame elsewhere. Can't find blame elsewhere, bro. You did this. You know, you allowed this shit to go on, and you're a prominent guy with a lot of things going on in your life. So the bullshit that's in your life, you allowed it. I mean, you can exile that shit and get it away from you, but you choose not to. So
I didn't deserve it, and there was no reason in hell I was going to let him raise his hand to me. When he came into the room, I told it to him straight. "You're not going to whoop me," I said. "What did you say, boy?" "You heard me," I said. "You're wrong this time. You try to whoop me, I'll kick your ass." It was pretty tense. I defied him, and he didn't like it one bit, but he could see that things had changed. I was almost as big as he was by then, and I knew I could take him. And so did he, I guess. He left my room without saying a word to me, angry as hell, and for the next 10 years we didn't talk to each other. That's right. We went 10 years without speaking. He would come over and hang out, and we even sat at the same Christmas table together, but we never spoke. And everyone knew we didn't speak. It was like family lore. The boy defied him, and they haven't spoken a word to each other in years. A decade later, when I was married to Marguerite, and with my marriage already in trouble, he was at my house in Los Angeles celebrating Thanksgiving with the family. And I turned to him and said something about some football game. And man, the whole room went silent. It was like I could hear my own heart beating. Everybody was staring at us. He talked to him. "Did you hear that? OJ talked to him." And my father just answered. It was the most natural thing in the world. Like our decade of silence had never happened. And that was the day we started talking again. I think on some level I'd always blamed him for my parents' marriage not working out. And over the years I'd come to see, slowly, that maybe I'd been a little hasty about passing judgment. I had simply assumed he was the bad guy, but I had nothing to back it up. And while he'd been there for me as a father, I guess I was still angry at him. Because I wanted what every kid wants, both parents, together under one roof. Now here it was, years later, with my own marriage failing. And I began to see that there were really two sides to every story. And that maybe my father wasn't such a bad guy after all. I'm not suggesting I was fully conscious of this, mind you. But I believe that on that Thanksgiving afternoon, with my own marriage in trouble, I began to see that I'd been pretty hard on him. And that whatever else had happened, he had always been there for us kids. That was an important lesson for me. And that night, sitting on the low wall in front of my house, my stomach rumbling, thinking about all of this, it hit me with a weird kind of clarity. If you fuck up your marriage, you try not to fuck up your kids. I figured Sydney and Justin would be in bed by then, over at the Bundy condo, fast asleep. I hoped so, anyway. I wondered what their mother was doing at that moment, and I wondered what other unpleasant surprises lay in store for me and the kids. For a moment, I thought back to the night I'd surprised her at the Gretna greenhouse, going at it on the couch with her friend Keith, in the glow of 24 candles, while the kids were in the house.
Look at OJ building himself up. Look, think he's sitting there on the, like he said, on the edge of downstairs in his foyer or whatever of his house. pissed off. Things ain't going right. He's thinking about how Nicole was in there, swallowing pipes. So he like, oh, no, fuck, my kids in there. You disrespect me. I'm OJ. You made me look like shit. Hey.
It made my stomach lurch. Don't get me wrong. Nicole had been a terrific mother, almost obsessive at times, but she'd been screwing up big time lately. It's strange. They say people don't change, but I say they're wrong. People change, but it's usually for the worse. Ron Fishman's words came back to haunt me. We don't know the half of it, he'd said. He was right. We didn't know shit. Nicole was on the fast track to hell, and she seemed determined to take me and the kids with her. I shut my eyes and told myself to stop thinking about her. I looked at my watch. It was 10:03. I needed a shower, and I had to finish packing. As I got to my feet, an unfamiliar car slowed near my gate, then pulled past and parked a short way down across the street. The driver got out and waved from the distance, and at first I couldn't tell who it was. When it came closer, I saw it was Charlie. I'd met him some months earlier at a dinner with mutual friends, and I'd seen him again a few weeks ago when we'd gone clubbing with the same friends. I liked Charlie. He was one of those guys who's always in a good mood, always laughing. And I told him what I tell a lot of people. Stop by when you're in the neighborhood. I guess he took it literally. Now picture this, and keep in mind, this is hypothetical. Charlie reached the gate, and the first thing I noticed is that he wasn't smiling. OJ, my man, what's up? He said. It sounded kind of forced.
Now, is Charlie OJ? Is this his alter ego? Or is this the other side of OJ, this Charlie guy? Or do Charlie really exist? Let's go.
What's up with you? I said. I went over and opened the gate, and he stepped through and we shook hands. What brings you to these parts? Not much. I was out to dinner with some guys down in Santa Monica. I thought I'd stop by to say hello. You got a strange look on your face, Charlie, I said. Something bothering you? Charlie looked away, avoiding my eyes. It's nothing, man, he said. Come on, I said. You can tell me. He looked back at me, struggling with his thoughts. You're not going to like it, he said finally. My stomach lurched again, and right away I knew. This is about Nicole, isn't it? Charlie nodded. What about her? You're not going to like it, he repeated. Just tell me, I said, already riled, before I get pissed off. Charlie took a step back like he thought I might hit him or something. A couple of these guys at dinner tonight, I guess they didn't know that you and I were friends, he began, tripping over the words. They started talking about this little trip they took to Cabo a few months back, in March, I think it was, and about these girls they partied with. Yeah? Charlie took a moment. It was Nicole and her friend Faye. He
Pedro, I'm over here listening to it and navigating the screen, so I got to see when you pop up and holler at me. Pedro, the New Era Music. Wait, KC, you're saying Charlie isn't a real person? No. Pedro, pay attention. Just pay attention to it. No, Charlie's not a real. This is OJ. Remember, hypothetically, he wrote this hypothetically. So when you write anything or if you announce anything hypothetically, fellas, that's saying don't take it as realistic. Don't take it as reality. You can take it how you want to take it. It can be fiction or it can be real. I believe, it's a chance Charlie is OJ and this is his alter ego. Yeah. You see what he say? It's his alter ego. Sorry, I'm new to this OJ thing. Yeah, it's his alter ego, Pedro. I'm putting you up on it. This is what I believe. Authorities believe this. A lot of people believe this, but then a lot of people believe Charlie is Glenn Rogers, this so-called serial killer that's supposed to be running around. At that time, it was a guy named Glenn Rogers. You can Google him. He's actually incarcerated. He was the Casanova serial killer. That's what they deemed him as, Casanova serial killer. Because he was running around macking on these chicks, and he was, up in the Hollywood area, Brentwood, Laguna, Santa Monica, all these little, prissy uppity areas in Hollywood or up in California. That's what I meant to say. And he was knocking them bitches off, macking them, knocking their back out, and then killing them. Allegedly. You can Google him, Glenn Rogers. But they saying that him and OJ supposed to have a connection, and OJ's supposed to pay him to go, do what he do with Nicole and get some jewelry back that he tried to take back from Nicole, and it or go get it back, and then it went sour, and Glenn supposed to have did something to her, but Glenn already allegedly have knew Nicole already from painting her house and painting houses in the community, because he was one of these guys that he can disguise himself real good, and he was a vicious dude. This is real. His name is Glenn Rogers, and this is allegedly supposed to be him. But then this is one of the rumors. Then the other rumor is Charlie's supposed to be OJ. This is alter ego. While OJ said he's down there in the foyer area thinking about Nicole and his troubled past and how he grew up, arthritis and family, his father and all this. You know what I'm saying? He's saying he's done these things, but at the same time, was he over there stalking? Was he the guy that was over there stalking? And he's telling himself, you can't believe what was going on over there. And he's seen what was setting up and went back, put things in position. Let's run the story, and you can get up more up on it with this.
He said, I'm listening. I said, I tried to stay calm, but I was fit to explode. There was a lot of drugs and a lot of drinking, and apparently things got pretty kinky. Why are you fucking telling me this, man? I hollered. I turned and had to fight the urge to put my fist through the Bentley's window. I'm sorry, man. I thought you'd want to know. Well, I don't fucking want to know. I'm sick of hearing this shit. I'm sorry. That is the mother of my children. I know, man. I'm sorry. That's why I told you. I know you two have been through a lot of shit, and I know it can't be easy, and I thought maybe if you talk to her. Talk to her? What the fuck is wrong with you? I've been trying to talk to her for years. She won't listen to me. She won't listen to her family. She won't listen to her friends. OJ, man, I'm not the enemy here. I turned around, fuming, and tried to count to 10. I didn't make it. By the time I got to 3, I realized that Charlie was right. He wasn't the enemy. Nicole was the enemy. I looked at my watch. I had less than an hour before the limo showed up to take me to the airport. Just enough time to drive down to Bundy, read her the fucking riot act, and get my ass back to the house. Come on, I said, and moved toward my Bronco. Where are we going? Just come. Charlie got in. I started the Bronco, and the gate whirred to life, and I pulled into the street, the tires squealing against the curb. Where are we going, OJ? Charlie repeated. We're going to scare the shit out of that girl, I said. What? Now? It never fucking ends. Every time I turn around, it's something new, and none of it's pretty. This isn't a good idea, OJ. Fuck that. I'm tired of being the understanding ex-husband. I have my kids to think about. I'm asking you, man, please turn around. Woman's going to be the death of me, I said. I was seething by this time, and I began to mimic her. I want to grow as a person, OJ. I want to find myself. I'm tired of everyone seeing me as OJ Simpson's wife. I'm tired of living in your shadow. OJ, please. You want to know how crazy it got? I said, ignoring him. After the split, after she dumped me, she began calling to tell me about the guy she was dating. Oh, OJ, do you think they like me for me?
Look at all this furious rage OJ is telling himself, or is he telling this to Charlie? And Charlie, hey, you can't be telling this to another person, fellas, that allegedly ain't got no insight and no wherewithal about the bitch you talking about or whoever you talking about. So they're not going to be rowling or enraging this situation all the way to its highest intents, unless you're doing this to yourself, thinking about the things that happen, right? Okay.
Or do they just want to get into my pants? And you know what I did? I told her to just have fun. I told her she was a great girl and not to worry and to go with her gut. Guys will be lining up around the block for you, I said. You're gorgeous and you're smart. I know you'll pick the right guys. Is that twisted or what? I would think, what the fuck are you doing, OJ? And then I would answer my own question. Well, the sooner she gets this finding herself shit out of her system, the sooner she'll be back. That's fucked up, man, Charlie said. Tell me about it, I said. I glanced over at him. He looked scared. Relax, man, I said. I'm just going to talk to the girl, and it'll be quick. I'm leaving for Chicago on the red-eye. I shouldn't have told you, Charlie said. No, man, you did the right thing. This is exactly what I needed, something to shake me up. This shit's been eating away at me forever, and it's got to stop. I want to get on with my fucking life. I've got to get this under control. You should let the lawyers handle it. Fuck the lawyers. You know what divorce lawyers are? They are the scum of the earth, preying on people at their weakest and most vulnerable. I know. I've given those scumbags $1 million.
You need to let no motherfucking lawyer handle it. You don't need to let nobody handle it. You handle it. You just leave. Just that simple. Gather your balls, fellas. Control your fucking emotions and leave. It's just that simple. Save your money.
Already. Well, maybe they owe you then. Fuck damn, I said. I'm going to take care of this myself. We were at Bundy by then, where it meets San Vicente Boulevard. I jogged left for a few yards and made a quick right to get back on Bundy. We passed the light at Montana, and I slowed near Nicole's place. I kept going, though. I took a right on Dorothy and an immediate right into the alley behind her condo, and I pulled a few yards past it and parked on the far left near a chain-link fence. I cut the engine and looked back toward the condo. It was so quiet it kind of spooked me. I looked at Charlie again. He seemed pretty glum. "Which one's her place?" he asked. I pointed it out. "I don't like this," he said. "Let's go the fuck back to your house." "You worry too much." "What if she's with someone?" "She better not be," I said. "Not with my kids in the house." I reached into the back seat for my blue wool cap and my gloves. I kept them there for those mornings when it was nippy on the golf course. I slipped into them. "What the fuck are you doing, man?" Charlie said. "You look like a burglar." "Good," I said. I reached under the seat for my knife. It was a very nice knife, a limited edition. I kept it on hand for the crazies. Los Angeles is full of crazies. "Nice, huh?" I said, showing it to Charlie. "Check out that blade." "Put that shit back," Charlie snapped. "You go in there and talk to the girl if you have to, but you're not taking a goddamn knife with you." He snatched it out of my hand, pissed. "You got to learn to relax, Charlie," I said. Then I opened the door, got out of the Bronco, and stole across the alley. Nicole's condo was one of 2 units, both of them long and narrow, mirror images of each other, fused at the middle. They each had their own entry on Bundy, and they each had a back gate in the alley, but Nicole's gate was broken. The buzzer didn't work properly, and the gate opened if you gave it a little push. I must have told her 1,000,000 times, "Please get the goddamn gate fixed," but the woman never listened. I slipped past the gate, entered the narrow courtyard, and moved toward the front door, and right away I noticed lights flickering in the windows. I moved past the front door to take a closer look. There were candles burning inside, and I could hear faint music playing. It was obvious that Nicole was expecting company. I wondered who the fuck it was this time. I wondered if maybe Faye was coming over with some of her boy toys so that they could get all wild and dirty while my kids were sleeping upstairs. Just as I was beginning to get seriously steamed, the back gate squeaked open. A guy came walking through like he owned the fucking place. He saw me and froze. He was young and good-looking with a thick head of black hair, and I tried to place him, but I'd never seen him before. I didn't even know his name. Ron Goldman. "Who the fuck are you?" I said. I just came by to return a pair of glasses," he replied, stammering. "Really? A pair of glasses, huh?" "Yes," he said.
And the man probably could have been just coming to return a pair of glasses. And when you in the jealous rage and you don't see nothing but red and, hatred and, what I'm saying, you bait it all the way out. You don't know what the fuck, you don't know what really to do. You're going to actually, place blame on homie and point the finger at him just as well. This is crazy, man. And he probably just doing some generous shit.
He was carrying an envelope. "Judy left him at the restaurant. I'm a waiter at Mezzaluna." "So it's Judy, is it? You're on a first name..."
Hold up. Brian Turner and this motherfucker. Brian Turner, what's good, KC? Yeah, bro, being considered a nice guy means bitches think you're weak and unattractive. Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're definitely going to take advantage of you. That's real shit. Jerome Castro. And shouts out to the homie Brian Turner. Like, share, and subscribe. Y'all hit the super chat. Hit the membership button. Show love to the show. Hit that Patreon. Hit that PayPal. Go join me on the Rumble. Hit the Cash App, too. The links are definitely in the chat area. Jerome Castro, he finna crash, put this Let me put this a lot of men behind they what? He finna crash. Put this a lot of men behind their female. I don't know what you're saying, bro. But shouts out to you, Jerome Castro. I don't know if you're saying it correctly or what. Let's get to it.
Bases with Judy. At that moment, the gate behind Goldman squeaked again. Charlie walked into the narrow space. He was carrying the knife. Everything cool here? He asked. I saw this guy walking through the gate, and I just wanted to make sure there wasn't going to be any trouble. This motherfucker wants me to believe that he's here dropping off a pair of Judy's glasses, I said. I am, Goldman said, appearing increasingly nervous. He held up an envelope. Look for yourself. And then what? I said. You were going back to the restaurant? No, he said. My shift's over. I'm just leaving these here and going home. You expect me to believe that? I don't expect anything, he said. I'm telling you the truth. You're a fucking liar, I shouted. I'm not. I swear to God.
Hey, Ron Goldman could have saved himself if he would have been like, yeah, I got to get back on the clock. Here go the glasses, sir. I'm out, and bounced the fuck about that gate. He'd have been cool. But he didn't think that way. I mean, wow, this is crazy. Like I said, it's hypothetically, though, as OJ put it.
She's got candles burning inside. Fucking music playing. Probably a nice bottle of red wine breathing on the counter, waiting for you. Not for me, Goldman protested. Fuck you, man. You think I'm fucking stupid or something? Suddenly the front door opened. Nicole came outside. She was wearing a slinky little cocktail dress, black, with probably not much on underneath. Her mouth fell open in shock. She looked at me, and she looked at Goldman, and she looked out at Charlie, just beyond. Goldman was pretty well trapped. Charlie stood between him and the rear gate, and I was barring his way to the front. OJ, what the fuck is going on? I turned to look at Nicole. That's what I want to know, I said. Cato, the dog, came wandering out of the house. He saw me and wagged his tail. Then he saw Goldman and also wagged his tail. I looked at Goldman, steamed, and Charlie moved closer, the knife still in his hand. I think he sensed that things were about to get out of control because I was very close to losing it. I'm listening, motherfucker, I said to Goldman. OJ, Nicole hollered. Leave him the fuck alone. What are you doing here anyway? I thought you were going to Chicago. Fuck you, I said. Hey, man, Goldman said, that's not necessary. Charlie piped in. Let's just get the fuck out of here, OJ. I asked you a question, motherfucker. What are you doing here? You delivering drugs? Leave him alone, OJ, Nicole shouted. I hear half you assholes are dealing on the side, I said. Nicole came at me swinging. Get the fuck out of here, she said. This is my house, and I can do what I want. Not in front of my kids, you can't. Fuck you. No, fuck you. I gave you everything you could ask for, and you fucked it all up. She came at me like a banshee, all arms and legs, flailing, and I ducked, and she lost her balance and fell against the stoop. She fell hard on her right side. I could hear the back of her head hitting the ground, and she lay there for a moment, not moving. Jesus Christ, OJ, let's get the fuck out of here, Charlie said, his voice cracking. I looked over at Goldman, and I was fuming. I guess he thought I was going to hit him because he got into his little karate stance. What the fuck is that? I said. You think you can take me with your karate shit? He started circling me, bobbing and weaving, and if I hadn't been so fucking angry, I would have laughed in his face. OJ, come on.
Pedro, what did he say? Hold up, Jerome Cash. What did he say? Crash out. Okay, finna crash out. Yeah. Pedro do wear me. I need to get some popcorn. Yeah, you should have got you a nice box of that over red Bacher.
It was Charlie again, pleading. Nicole moaned, regaining consciousness. She stirred on the ground and opened her eyes and looked at me, but it didn't seem like anything was registering. Charlie walked over and planted himself in front of me, blocking my view. We are fucking done here, man. Let's go. I noticed the knife in Charlie's hand, and in one deft move, I removed my right glove and snatched it up. We're not going anywhere, I said, turning to face Goldman. Goldman was still circling me, bobbing and weaving, but I didn't feel like laughing anymore. You think you're tough, motherfucker? I said. I could hear Charlie just behind me saying something, urging me to get the fuck out of there, and at one point he even reached for me and tried to drag me away, but I shook him off, hard, and moved toward Goldman. Okay, motherfucker, I said. Show me how tough you are. Then Something went horribly wrong. And I know what happened, but I can't tell you exactly how. I was still standing in Nicole's courtyard, of course, but for a few moments I couldn't remember how I'd gotten there, when I'd arrived, or even why I was there. Then it came back to me, very slowly. The recital, with little Sydney up on stage, dancing her little heart out. Me, chipping balls into my neighbor's yard. Paula, angry, not answering her phone. Charlie, stopping by the house to tell me some more ugly shit about Nicole's behavior. Then what? The short, quick drive from Rockingham to the Bundy condo. And now I was standing in Nicole's courtyard, in the dark, listening to the loud, rhythmic, accelerated beating of my own heart. I put my left hand in my heart and my shirt felt strangely wet. I looked down at myself. For several moments I couldn't get my mind around what I was seeing. The whole front of me was covered in blood, but it didn't compute. Is this really blood? I wondered. And whose blood is it? Is it mine? Am I hurt? I was more confused than ever. What the hell had happened here? Then I remembered that Goldman guy coming through the back gate with Judy's glasses. And I remembered hollering at him. And I remembered how our shouts had brought Nicole to the door. Nicole. Jesus. I looked down and saw her on the ground in front of me, curled up in a fetal position at the base of the stairs, not moving. Goldman was only a few feet away, slumped against the bars of the fence. He wasn't moving either. Both he and Nicole were lying in giant pools of blood. I had never seen so much blood in my life. It didn't seem real, and none of it computed. What the fuck happened here? Who had done this? And why? And where the fuck was I when this shit went down? It was like part of my life was missing. Like there was some weird gap in my existence. But how could that be? I was standing right there. That was me, right? I again looked down at myself, at my blood-soaked clothes, noticed the knife in my hand. The knife was covered in blood, as were my hand and wrist and half of my right forearm. That didn't compute either. I wondered how I had gotten blood all over my knife, and I again asked myself whose blood it might be when suddenly it all made perfect sense. This was just a bad dream. A very bad dream. Any moment now I would wake up at home in my own bed and start going about my day. Then I heard a sound behind me and turned.
Shit's reality, OJ.
Startled. Charlie was standing in the shadows, a few feet away, his mouth hanging open, breathing short and ragged. He was looking beyond me at the bodies. Charlie? I called out. He didn't answer. Charlie! Still nothing. I went over and stood in front of him and asked the same question I just asked myself. Charlie, what the fuck happened here? He looked up and met my eyes, but for several moments it was as if he didn't really see me. Are you listening to me? I said. I asked you what happened here. Charlie shook his head from side to side, his mouth still hanging open, his breathing still short, ragged, and in a voice that was no more than a frightened whisper, said, Jesus Christ, OJ, what have you done? Me? What the hell was he talking about? I hadn't done anything.
Shouts out to Trent Trader. Homie Trent Trader said, what's good, fellas? Trent Trader, he actually put this in writing. Hell yeah, he put it in writing, but he described it as hypothetical, though. So when you can do it in hypothetical, whether it's a movie, a documentary, a book, or whatever, content, audio, I guess you can say hypothetically, yeah, he did this, but he disguised it as, he had a guy named Charlie with him or whatever the case may be. Like I said, I believe, and plenty others believe, Charlie is OJ. It's just his alter ego. This is how he can throw the case off, by saying someone was with him, and if he would have done it. That's why I got it. If I did it. That's the name of the book. That's crazy.
I jumped at a sound behind me. A high-pitched, almost human wail. It was Kato the dog, circling Nicole's body.
Like, share, and subscribe. Y'all hit the super chat, hit the membership button when you come in. Like, share, and subscribe, hit the super chat, hit the membership button. You know what I'm saying? Fuck with me on them donations. Go join the PayPal. Hit that PayPal, hit that Cash App link. Go join the Patreon and join the Rumble. The links are definitely in the chat. Let's go.
His big paws leaving prints in the wet blood. He lifted his snout and let out another wail, and it sent chills up and down my spine. Let's get the fuck out of here, I said. I hurried toward the rear gate and moved through it with Charlie close behind, but I stopped myself before I crossed into the alley. Charlie bumped into me and jumped back, startled. What? He said. I didn't answer. I was thinking about the shape I was in. I was thinking of all the blood. My shirt and pants were sticking to my skin. Even my shoes were covered in blood. I turned and looked behind me, beyond Charlie, and saw a track of bloody telltale prints. I've got to get rid of these fucking clothes, I said. Without even thinking about it, I kicked off my shoes and began to strip. I took off my pants and shirt, dropped the knife and shoes into the center of the pile, and wrapped the whole thing into a tight bundle. I left my socks on, though. I don't know why, but I didn't see any blood on them, so I had no reason to remove them.
My thing is this. The hypothetically end up becoming the I. I did. Instead of Charlie. You know what I'm saying? If it wasn't a hypothetical, he'd be actually involving Charlie. But since he put hypothetically, he's going to involve Charlie, but then he reverses and say I, it becomes an I. So what do y'all think? It's crazy.
As I stood with the bundle grasped in my left hand, I realized that I'd left my keys and my wallet in my pants. I fell to a crouch and dug for them and noticed that my hands were shaking. Charlie stood there all the while, mumbling, Jesus Christ, OJ, Jesus Christ. He just kept repeating himself, like he'd lost his goddamn mind or something. Will you shut the fuck up, I snapped. I found my keys and my wallet and rewrapped the bundle. Then I stood and hurried across the dark alley. Charlie followed, still mumbling. I got behind the wheel and Charlie climbed into the passenger seat. Jesus Christ, OJ, he said. Jesus Christ. Will you shut the fuck up? Charlie recoiled, startled, and shut up.
Or is OJ telling this shit to himself? That's what I'm saying, fella. This is crazy. Hold up. What'd he say? He's putting this shit in. What up? Pedro said, what up, Trend Trader? Trend Trader, Pedro. Everyone announcing each other. Greeting each other, whatever. That's what's up. Trend Trader, Mr. Turner. Trend Trader. Say JC, Jerome Castro. Oh, yeah. Brian Turner and this bitch, what he say? Trend Trader. Brian Turner, the New Era Music 100. Oh, yeah. That's what's up, everybody in this bitch acknowledging one another and greeting one another. That's what's up. Let me know that y'all in here, y'all on board, y'all getting this game. Y'all know what not to do and how not to act out of your feelings and to get into these jealous ass rage like this.
I started the Bronco and pulled out, the tires squealing, and raced through the curved alley toward Montana Avenue. When I reached the end of the alley, I made a left onto Montana and an immediate right at the corner onto Gretna Green. San Vicente was a block away, and I made a left there and took it all the way to Bristol, then hung a right to Sunset and made a left there toward home. I glanced at Charlie. He was hunched over, his elbows on his knees, his face buried in his hands. What happened back there, Charlie? I said. Charlie sat up. His cheeks were wet with tears. He shook his head from side to side and shrugged. I thought back to that horrific scene at the courtyard and to all the blood. I'd never seen so much blood in my life. It didn't seem possible. It didn't seem real. Charlie? He still didn't answer, but what the hell? This wasn't really happening. It hadn't been me back there. I'd imagined the whole thing. I was imagining it then. In actual fact, I was home in bed, asleep, having one of those crazy crime of passion dreams. But I was going to wake up any second now. Yeah, that was it. Only I didn't wake up. We were still on Sunset, and I passed the light on Burlingame and made a sharp right onto Rockingham, tearing up the winding hill toward the house. As I approached the gate, I saw a limo moving toward the Rockingham gate from Ashford Street and remembered that I had a flight to catch. I drove past my house and past the moving limo, and in the side view mirror I saw its taillights flare as it pulled to a stop in front of my gate. The driver had probably been waiting on Ashford out of sight, and I wondered if he'd already called the house. I had no idea what time it was. I looked down at the Bronco's clock and saw it was 10:37. Fuck. I was supposed to be in that limo in 8 minutes. I pulled into Ashford and kept going, hanging a right on Bristol, and I parked in the shadows beyond the home of Eric Watts. There was another neighbor on Rockingham who was closer, but his property ran parallel to mine, and I couldn't get inside without running the risk of being spotted by the limo driver. I was going to have to steal onto my property through the Watts place, and I knew just how to do it. I looked down at my lap, at the bloody bundle, then over at Charlie. "You're going to have to help me out here, man," I said.
Hey, if this shit would have happened in today's time, fellas, the Watts place or all these other places that creeping through their courtyard or through their yard and things of that sort, just to get back to his place, because he got a navigation system back there on how he move around in the backyards and shit like that, he would have been caught, because everybody got these cameras. Everything's camera related now. Hey, this is crazy, bro.
Charlie turned to look at me. His mouth was hanging open a bit, and he was breathing kind of funny, and he couldn't stop shaking his head. It looked like he was slipping into shock or something. "Charlie, are you listening to me?" He stopped shaking his head for a moment and nodded once, and I began to tell him what I needed from him. "I've got to get into my house," I said. "You're going to have to wait here until I'm in the limo, understand? When the limo's gone—" Charlie looked away, into the darkness beyond his own window, clearly not listening to me. I reached over and slammed his left shoulder into the seat, hard, and he whipped around to face me, more frightened than ever. "I need you to fucking listen to me, man," I shouted. "Are you fucking listening to me?" Charlie nodded. He looked scared to death. "Say it. Tell me you're listening." "I'm listening," he mumbled. "Let me spell it out for you, and you better fucking pay attention. Are you paying attention?" Charlie nodded. "Say it, goddammit." I'm paying attention," Charlie said. "I'm going to sneak back into my house. I'm going to take a shower and get dressed and grab my bags, and I'm going to get into that goddamn limo we just passed. Did you see the limo?" "No," Charlie said. "Well, there's a fucking limo parked in front of the Rockingham gate, and I'm supposed to be in it, on my way to the airport." "A limo," Charlie repeated. His mouth was still hanging open, and I wasn't sure any of this was really registering, but I didn't have a choice. "Once I'm in that limo and it's gone, I need you to park the fucking Bronco in the driveway."
Now, if Charlie was a real person, he definitely ain't Glenn Rogers, a fucking serial killer, because he would be on point. He wouldn't need no OJ, for one, to be doing no shit like this. You know what I'm saying? And for two, that's how I can break it down, fellas. I already know it ain't no Glenn Rogers shit. Come on, that's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And a serial killer, this is what he do. OJ will be the amateur, not the serial killer. So he wouldn't be all distraught and caught up and just amazed on what to do, and just, you know what I'm saying, just caught off into a daze or something. Nah, fuck no. So I'm calling bullshit.
"Then get into your car and take the fuck off. Do you understand?" Charlie nodded. "This here's the clicker. It'll open the gate. You can drop the key in the mailbox, but run out before the gate closes, okay?" "Okay," he said. I took the key out of the ignition and removed all the keys except the one for the Bronco. Then I set the bundle in his lap. "I need you to take this and get rid of it," I said. Charlie looked down at the bundle, afraid to touch it. "I don't give a fuck how you get rid of it, but make sure it disappears. You hear? It needs to disappear forever." Charlie nodded. "Did you fucking hear me?" I hollered. "I heard you," Charlie said. I made him repeat everything I had told him, word for word, and then I got out of the car and stole into the neighbor's property toward my house. My heart was beating like crazy. I could feel it pounding in my ears. I moved past the tennis court to the little secret path that connected our two properties. Only a few friends knew about that path, and all of them were tennis players. They made use of it whenever I wasn't around to open the front gate for them. Within seconds, I was on my property, moving past my own tennis court. I hung left, moving past the guest houses, all of which are tucked away out of sight, and past the pool toward the rear of the main house. I couldn't see the limo from way back there, but I knew it was at the Rockingham gate. I was sure the driver had already buzzed the house by then, and I was pretty sure he'd already called his office to tell them I wasn't there. Still, he was a few minutes early, and he'd hang tight. He'd buzz again in a few minutes. For all I knew, he was buzzing at that very moment. As I was moving past Cato's room, I stumbled against one of the air conditioning units, making a racket, and almost fell down. I stole past, still clutching my keys, breathing hard, and let myself through the back door. I moved toward the alarm panel and punched in the code to keep it from going.
When he bumped into that thing, he made a racket. Is that where he dropped the glove at? Hey.
Off. I didn't turn on any lights until I got upstairs into my own room. Then I hurried into the bathroom and hopped into the shower. Not a minute later, I heard the phone ringing. I saw that the bottom light was flashing, the light that corresponded to the Rockingham gate, so I knew it was the limo driver. I figured he'd seen the lights go on in the bedroom and the bathroom and was trying me again. Maybe he thought I'd been asleep. That would be a good thing to tell him, that I'd been asleep. I let the phone ring, knowing he'd call back, and finished showering. I got out and dried myself, thinking about what I had to do. My bags were pretty well packed, so I was almost ready to go. I slipped into my black robe and went downstairs and grabbed the Louis Vuitton bag and my golf clubs and took them out front and set them in the courtyard. The driver saw me and got out of the limo, squinting in my direction. I hurried back upstairs to finish dressing, with my heart still beating like crazy. I could feel it in my ears and against my temples. But as I looked around, I couldn't understand what I was so worked up about. I took a deep breath and told myself the last hour was just a nightmare. None of that ever goddamn happened. The phone rang again, the lower light, and I reached for it. "Yeah, man," I said. "I know you're here. I overslept and just got out of the shower. My bags are out front." I hit the code and opened the front gate so we could drive through and get the bags, and hung up and finished dressing. Then I hurried downstairs and went outside. The driver was still putting the bags into the trunk of his white limo. "Hey," I said. "Good evening, Mr. Simpson." "We about set here?" "Yes, sir." At that moment, Cato showed up, looking spooked. "Did you hear that?" he asked. "What?" I said. "That banging noise," he said. "A big thump out back, near the fence." "I didn't hear shit," I said. "I was in the shower." "It was a really loud fucking noise, OJ. It scared the hell out of me." Cato seemed to think that someone had been lurking around that part of the house, and he asked me to have a look, so I humored him. We went off in separate directions, and after about a minute, we reconvened near the front door. "I didn't see anything," I said. "You got a flashlight?" he asked. "Jesus, Cato, I'm trying to get out of here. You go look for it and lock up when you're done." Cato went into the house, still spooked, and I got into the limo and took off. I think the driver was nervous about being late or something, because he got confused at sunset and took the wrong entry ramp onto the 405 freeway. Once we were en route, I called Cato to tell him to make sure to set the alarm. I didn't get through to him, but I remembered having told him to lock up, and I hoped he was smart enough to set the alarm. "Man," I told the driver, "feels like I spend my whole life racing to and from airports and getting on and off airplanes." "I know what you mean," the driver said. Once we got to the airport, I checked in at the curb like I always do and watched the skycap tag the bags. A couple of fans came by for autographs, and I was happy to oblige. On my way to the gate, I signed a few more autographs, and when I boarded the plane, I shook hands with a couple more fans. One of them was curious about my ring. He thought it was my Super Bowl ring, but it was actually my Hall of Fame ring, and he took a closer look and admired it. I only mention this because there was supposed to be a cut on my ring finger, but it must have been a phantom cut. There was nothing but a ring there. I was asleep before the plane took off, and I slept most of the way to Chicago. A limo driver helped me get my bags and then took me to the O'Hare Plaza Hotel. It was quiet at that early hour, even at the airport, and the ride only lasted about 5 minutes. I got to my room exhausted and stripped and immediately fell asleep. But a short time later, I was awakened by the ringing phone. I picked it up. It was some cop in Los Angeles, either Philip Van Adder or Thomas Lang, I don't really remember, calling to tell me that he had some bad news. Nicole has been killed, he said. Killed, I said, not sure I'd heard him correctly. What do you mean, killed? And the cop said, OJ, we can't tell you, but we can tell you that the kids are all right. Where are you? I looked around the hotel room and came out of my fog. I'm in Chicago, I said. I need you to come back to L.A. as soon as you can, he said. Much later during the trial, the prosecution made a big deal about my response to that phone call, claiming that I never bothered to ask what had happened to Nicole, and suggesting that I didn't ask because I already knew. But that's not the way.
Now, fellas, that's where we at. Hold up. Let me see. Pedro, we say Brian. What's up with Trent Trader? That's why they were calling this book a confession. Yep. And we wanted to get to that confession part, fellas, you know what I'm saying, to break that down. And everything else is really leading up to the police interrogation and to the trial and things of that sort. So, you know what I'm saying? And that's just to, get you guys up to speed on what's really going on with this OJ trial or what happened. And you guys can draw your conclusion on what really happened. I already know what's up, fellas. I ain't stupid, you know what I'm saying? That's him speaking hypothetically, so you know what's up, man. He was in a jealous rage. He's telling you guys I was sick and tired of her doing this shit to me. So hey, I had to plans had to be made and I had to stand on shit, and that's how he did it. You know what I'm saying? But shouts out to Trent Trader, shouts out to Pedro, Brian Turner, Player B. Is that Player B? Not Player B, but Jerome Castro. I'm tripping. Trent Trader, Brian Turner, Pedro, and Jerome Castro. Shouts out to you guys for coming up in here fucking with me. Like, share, subscribe. Y'all hit the super chat. Hit the membership button. Hit the PayPal. Hit the Cash App link. Hit the go join me on Rumble. Go join me on Patreon, fellas. I'm about to go and drop something right now on Patreon just as well, fellas. So get ready to join that Patreon and come and get this work. You know what I'm saying? I'll be back tomorrow for sure. The OJ saga is over, but I'll be back tomorrow with some games, some most prominent heat that you guys really need. And I got some shit to talk about. So, yeah, man, that's what we do, Pedro. So, in a way, OJ would have gotten away with it. Yeah, he did get away with it. You know what I mean? He got found not guilty. Legally, he did get away with it. That's why he came out, 10 plus years, I think 11 or 12 years later, and wrote the book because, they couldn't really hit him with double jeopardy and nothing. So, that's why he wrote the book and made it, if I did it. And I guess the Goldmans, for what my understanding is, he wrote the book and he got a big, good, nice little lump sum, over $500,000 for the book. And, They cut him the check. One of these publishing companies cut him the check, broke him off, and they were set to release the book, market and put it out there. But the Goldmans caught wind of it. And remember, they got that lawsuit on OJ, that $33 million lawsuit. 33 plus some more money, and adding interest too. I never seen a lawsuit add interest, but if you OJ, then everything add on, right? That's how biased the system is towards certain people. I never seen no shit like that add interest, but they say to add interest. And they took the book. They claimed rights to the book, and they dropped it and put "I did it." They put they made the if in small print and put it inside the I and said "I did it." So they basically released it like, OJ did it. This is what he did. They said the motherfucker sold pretty good, made some money, but all that shit went over to the Goldmans though. They ended up eating off that. But OJ wasn't tripping. He got his money up front for releasing the book. So I mean, I don't know. So the publishing people had to work business with the Goldmans to get their money back and all that. So I don't know, man. But this is a book he's supposed to drop. I mean, he did drop, and he letting you guys know how he actually did it and got away with it. You know what I'm saying? I don't see how. You mean all that evidence they had on OJ, I don't know how the fuck he got away. But I mean, I know how he got away, because at that time it was a lot of racism going on with the LA, Los Angeles Police Department and the African American and Hispanic communities. A lot of racism going on. The Rodney King trial, when the officers got found guilty up in Simi Valley for beating Rodney King. Latasha Harlins, when she got shot in the head by the Asian store owner. You know, when she bought the juice and everything, and the Asian store owner, you know, to hurry up and buy it, get out of here type of shit, all that bullshit, and killed that young girl. And then all the police brutality, the police corruption, you know, taking money from us, or just scandalous shit was going on at that time, to where when this shit went down, you know what I'm saying? They, you know, hey, I mean, shit, OJ defense team used to play the race card. And when they played the race card, it worked out in their defense. You know, they try to say LAPD, Mark Furman planted the glove by at OJ's house by the air conditioning, but you also hear OJ in the book say he bumped against the air conditioning, right? And he was holding everything in hand. And when he bumped, I believe he dropped that glove when he was holding everything in hand. When he thought he had everything held tight, he dropped that glove. And then Kato Kalin came out. Hey, man, you hear that? It was like an earthquake or something. Something bumped against the house. You know, OJ, no, come on, Kato, go on inside. I got things to do. I got to go. I don't know what's going on. Let's go. One bump. Now, if OJ would have went back there and checked with Kato, he would have found the glove that he dropped and picked it up, and then the police would have never found that glove, and it would have been probably a different case. But, you know, they found that glove. The defense team, OJ defense team, made it as if the police planted that glove on OJ. But y'all hear OJ say he dropped the glove, right? Okay, then. Now, this is crazy, man. You know, Trent Trader, he said arthritis. yeah, yeah, arthritis. No, he had that glove to commit them crimes, man. And we left one at the scene of the murders. And then he left the wool cap at the scene of the murders. OJ was sloppy with that shit. You know what I'm saying? He was real sloppy, and then took his clothes off. I remember he said he took his clothes off and his wallet, his keys, and had them all bundled up. Probably had one glove with him and dropped that other glove there at the scene. You know, I mean, you know, everything tells, it's a telltale story. I mean, everything tells on OJ, but he still got found not guilty due to the time and what was going on at that time. A lot of y'all wasn't even born. You know, some of y'all wasn't, y'all just kids, so y'all don't really know. You know, mainly a lot of y'all wasn't born. If you're in your 20s and shit, you definitely wasn't born then. So yeah, this is what went on at that time, fellas. And it was called the trial of the century. But the first trial of the century, I mean, it took away from the very first trial of the century was the Lynchburg murder. Back when J. Edgar Hoover was coming in position of power and shit, and he was, you know, becoming, he was an FBI. He was moving himself up to become the director of the FBI. And he helped solve you know, he took credit for solving. They say he didn't solve it, but he supposed to allegedly stole credit for solving the Lynchburg murders when the guy Lynchburg, forgot his real name, Lindbergh or Lynchburg, when his baby was supposedly have kidnapped, and the baby was kidnapped and murdered or whatever, and took it up out of the house when everybody was asleep, and they tried to say that he staged it. He went in there and took his own child out about the house and did the baby in and shit, like, you know, actually murked the baby and deleted the baby. And that was like the trial of the century then. We talking in the 40s, I believe. The 40s, the 30s, somewhere around that. Around the time the FBI was starting to come in position of power, you know what I'm saying? That was the trial of the century then. And then the second trial of the century, and we ain't had one since, it's been the OJ trial. You know what I'm saying? Just a short, brief, you know, history lesson for you guys. But shouts out to you guys for coming up in here. Like you said, if the glove wouldn't fit, he must have quit, right? yeah. That's the sense. That's a slogan that Johnny Cochran came with. Jerome Castro, allegedly Khloe Kardashian is OJ daughter. Yeah, that's what they say. But who knows though? You know, I don't really. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? It could be another brother's daughter. The way Kris Jenner was passing that motherfucking pussy around all the brothers. Let's keeping it real. You know what I'm saying? But I got to get up out of here, and shouts out to everybody for coming up in here showing me love, y'all. Let me see, Trent Trader. Yeah, well, that explains a lot. Jerome Castro. Yeah. yeah. yeah, that could be anybody's motherfucking daughter, man. You know, ain't no telling shit. Yeah, I ain't gonna put that off on OJ. It could be nigga Marcus Allen, all type of dudes around it. Eric Dickinson, a lot of dudes Kris Jenner and them was running around fucking with at that time. Basketball player, baseball players, football, they was Hollywood star. I mean, shit, ain't no telling who daughter that is. I mean, that's it. I mean, don't look like Rob Kardashian, but it is what it is, though. You know, Jerome Castro at Trend for real. She looked none like the others. Nah, she looked like a brother. The new era music. The brothers, LOL, they be getting it in. On the low key. We hate you brothers. We don't like black men and this and that. These motherfuckers be creeping with brothers like a motherfucker on the under. Nigga. For real. All races be doing that shit. Let's keep it real, man. Yeah. But everybody creeps with everybody. It's always been like that. Trader. The facts. Yeah. But I'm about this bitch, man. Much love to all y'all, man. Like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, man, I salute. Thanks for the support. I'm about this bitch. Holla.